everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps Beneath the Waves, Part 4. Today is March 7th, 2022, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on each of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. And if you are a member of this community and you're trying to think that thinking to yourself, I want to ask these questions and receive answers, the easiest place to ask those questions is actually going to be in our Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side if you're watching this live, or in the description of this video or audio cast down below. But let's say you already support us on Patreon. Let's say you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and I still don't know where it is, and I was cleaning my desk earlier, but we have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, also known as Tiamat masks, where all the proceeds of those masks end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. And now that I currently don't have a day job outside of streaming, I'm going to be working on trying to get some more designs in that shop for people, because it's going to be a good time. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who are you playing today?
Hello, everybody. I'm RJ, and today I'll be playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard, and we both go by he, him.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. I'm trying to plug something in. I'll be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter. We both go by she, her.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or whatever pronouns. I'm playing Arjhan. Arjhan goes by he, him, and he is a draconian problem.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I'm playing as Cori under the Eldrin Paladin. I have she, her pronouns, and Cori has she, they, and him.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, but tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So let's pick things off where we last left them. So, guys, it's been a month since we played.
What happened?
What happened was, one, we were dealing with the after effects of Cori having gotten the anti-aging cream for Caelum after she had gone to things that make you say wow and witnessed a singularity forming of all of the Arillos being pulled into a vortex by themselves. Super cool. Cori's never going to talk about it, especially with her companions. You ended up communicating more with the Wraths, finding out that, maybe you shouldn't have mentioned certain things to Arathsk, specifically about the Dragon Forge, which has a new name that I definitely wrote down.
Verstane.
Verstane, thank you. So Verstane is now the name of the Dragon Forge. Great. At this point, Gwen was also making the decision that she was going to spend time with her dearly beloved, her one, her only, Phillip Spicebottom. And upon meeting Phillip, he informed you that he's been doing kind of a community theater, a one-man show, where he sits at a desk. It's a very improv-heavy thing. He calls it the bonus stage, with his stage name being Rob. It's a wonderful time. We all appreciate Rob here. It was at that point, Gwen, that you decided that you and Phillip were going to be making your way north through the woods, through the Hollow Locks, up to Greenreach, just to try and recenter a little bit. You all still had roughly about a month left to actually wait for Oliviette's ship to reach Prospect, where you would then end up at least figuring out what you were doing. It was kind of a good waypoint along the way. At this point, Caelum began to use his anti-aging cream, communicating not only with the group off constantly, but also Kendek, in an attempt to begin work on a set of armor of necrotic resistance, I believe was Caelum's goal.
We were changing the fire resistance on Gwen's armor to necrotic.
Yes. So that was Caelum's plan. Again, Cori had left to go spend some time with Oliviette. And in the meantime, Arjhan, you had received a message from one of your other selves that claimed that they had found a like-minded individual willing to lend themselves to your cause. That, of course, being the variant of you that is known as the Bloodlord of the Ashen After. It was at that point that they agreed that they would allow themselves to be summoned by your side in order to fight. And it seemed like a good time was being had by all. And Arjhan, you also set up with Off Constantly that they were going to go out and try and find the remaining Blood Hunter orders, see if they could possibly do some information gathering for you. So with that in mind, we are again going to be doing some more broad stroke, fast play kind of things for this campaign, which it only took us 18 levels to do, but I think we finally figured out how to downtime, I think. So, during this time, Gwen, you and Phillip end up setting out from Tyrant Security. You're heading north. You end up getting to meet all of Phillip's co-workers. There's an elderly tiefling woman who's always talking about her grandkids and how proud of them that she is, as well as a few other notables. You end up meeting with JD, and JD has been raising the Owl Bear Cub that you guys had left with her about a year ago. The Owl Cub at this point is, not like a huge Owl Bear Cub, but it's reasonably sized. Like, you could possibly ride it, being of halfling height. It grows fast, but it's still more of an adolescent at this point in time. However, along your travels, because you were planning from going from Silt Creek up to the Hollow Locks into Greenreach, and I believe making a stop at the Goliath tribe as well. What are some of the adventures that Gwen and Phillip get into? Like, these aren't going to be like anything heavy. And again,
Yeah.
Phillip has said that like the quests that he have been on have been like answering riddles from a troll. These seem very lighthearted adventures. So what are some of the things that Gwen has gotten up to with Phillip during this time?
Yeah, I think that Gwen and Phillip have gone on like many adventures. There were probably some ruffians on the road that saw them as two halflings as easy targets. And boy, were they surprised when that was not the case. Maybe they rescued some small creatures that were in trouble, helping maybe some like deer type creatures that were stuck in a bog, something like that. Just little things. Gwen is helping Phillip chart the stars in the Goliath way. So at night they like stay up and look up at the stars, and she tells him stories about all of the Goliath
Constellations
beings that live on. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of that stuff, and she's very much enjoying her downtime, the whole just getting to be normal for a little while and not have the weight of the world on her shoulder.
I'm sure it feels very nice to have some time off. So Gwen, when you say that like you met some ne'er-do-wells on the road and you rescued some like foresty creatures, I would imagine that like one of the bandits has like some sprites or something like that in a small box that they're like, haha, we're gonna take them somewhere else and sell them or something.
Yeah.
But thankfully, being the heroes that you are, you make quick work of this. Another question that I did have for Gwen, which is the tattoo. that you have, and how you got it was by giving up the memory of the first smooch that Gwen and Phillip had. Do you let Phillip know that you gave up this memory? Or is that something that Gwen sort of like keeps to herself during this journey?
I feel like she wouldn't keep it like a secret. Just she remembers that she's lost that, right?
She remembers that she had to give something up. But knowing that like it's one of those things, like it might come up if Phillip brings up like, oh, remember our first kiss like during this thing, and you're like, no, it was at this thing over here, because like your idea of what the first kiss was is now someplace very separate.
Yeah. I mean, she wouldn't hide that. I don't think that seems to be something that is important. Like, oh, I don't remember that. Shit, I had to give something up. Is that what I gave up? Why would I do that? Like that sort of mindset.
Yeah, and I think that Phillip is understanding. And if anything, I think he ends up being like, in a way, you almost think that he would be mad about you giving up something like that. But instead, what ends up happening is that he is thankful. And he's actually like a little like bespoke in that you giving up something, like considering that to be like a cherished memory, not any of the other things that you've had in your life, but that moment specifically. I think that that really like, I think that leaves more of like a positive mark on Phillip, having like, oh, that was important to you. I mean, it was like really important to me as well, but like you've done so much that like,
yeah,
like that kind of thing. He's very.
She's just like, you fucking nerd. Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell that like he's a little like, even though he is sad that you won't remember it, he's still at least very pleased at the fact that is what you chose to do. Now, you wanted to go from through the south to then hit the Goliath camp and then Greenreach.
Yes.
With that in mind, I have a very important question for Gwen.
Oh boy.
Because when Phillip and Gwen returned to Greenreach, there was something that the two of you had said that you were going to do together, which did involve Gwen joining the Spice Bottom family.
That's true.
Kind of.
I think that if they wanted to have like a ceremony or like a marriage event, I think that she would be adamant that her friends should be attending that, and like not make it so like she comes back and like, hey, I got married, that sort of thing. Okay,
so with that in mind, does Gwen want to send out wedding invitations to the rest of the Four Keeps? Because the Spice Bottom family, they have been like, I mean, it's one of those things like they have been ready for this wedding to happen for a while.
That's true.
And so to them, they're like, oh yeah, no, like we already built the pavilion. We've already had like casks ready. Like they have been waiting, because the Spice Bottom family was one of the higher end families in Greenreach. So like they've had all of this like ready to go for their sweet baby boy Phillip as soon as they could get you like back in Greenreach. And furthermore, again, looking around in Greenreach, I believe, no, that's not where you planted.
We did plant a tree there.
You planted,
or there was a tree planted there.
Was it Caelum's bean leg? Was
Bean
that
leg.
The bean leg was there? At this point,
It's at like a winery, I believe.
yes, it was at the Three Rivers Brewing.
Yeah.
The bean leg has grown quite significantly, but it got to a point where it was obstructing a lot of things and like pushing up on the lower base of the building, because again, it was a leg grown from a magic bean. So they actually cut it down. All the
way?
They had to, yes. It was either that or carve the bean away to make room for the building that was still there. And it was also like, it was growing much higher than they thought that it would. And you're guessing that this was going to turn, at least like as a player, into like a magic beanstalk situation.
Uh-huh.
And the halflings of Greenreach wanted nothing to fucking do with that. They've had it with giant vegetation. They don't want to deal with that shit anymore.
Fair.
Likewise, going through the hollow locks, knowing that the last time that you had been there, you had left a certain individual by the name of Crow in the care of 3 different furbolgs. They don't have Crow anymore.
Oh?
They explain that one of the things that you had said was to be hospitable and to get them, like, you know, like things that they would need and to make sure that they kept an eye on them. They then explained that Crow outsmarted them by basically asking, or basically telling them, it's all right, I've changed my ways. You can let me go. And they did not see through that ruse as well as maybe they should have.
Wonderful.
In the distance, Gwen hears a screaming jackal.
Oh, God.
Arjhan, not happy about this.
Gwen, not happy about this. Boy. Okay.
Yeah, they shrugged. They don't know where he went or where they went, but...
That's awesome. Okay, Gwen will send a sending back to the group, relaying as much about about their captive no longer being captive, and as well as when she gets to Greenreach, the wedding invitation.
Of course. I would also like to point out, Caelum, unless your party told you about this dude, this is like the first time that you're hearing that they had kept a captive in like a big wooden ball.
What? Who's this Crow guy? What?
I'm not there. I can't send back.
See, this is why we never delegate.
Olivia,
Kendek, did you
just
know
like-
about this Crow guy?
Who are you asking, Caelum?
Kendek, do you know about this Crow guy?
Kendek just like shakes his head no.
Huh.
All right. So, while on the ship, Cori, is there any conversation that you would like to have with Olivia while you guys are making your way?
Conversation, not necessarily. But like the experience is just very like they settle into a routine of, you know, keep the ship running, defend from any threats. I think that Cori does take on their masculine form from time to time, and that's probably a new experience for Olivia.
Yeah. She's not opposed. She likes you for you. She's not going to be like, oh, you're different now. Don't like this. Nah, get off my ship. This sucks. No, she's...
Cori's always been pretty like variable to begin with. Like
exactly.
Being a dude probably isn't that much of a difference. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They have adventures on the high seas together and occasionally go on dates, which is to say, you know, just dinner in the captain's quarters.
With that, while you were at sea, Olivia, as time progresses, one of the things that she brings up to you, sort of like looking over the map that you have given, as well as the general map that she has of the local, of the area that you were going to. She explains that she mainly stayed along the coastline of Alira. She never really ventured out very far into the actual ocean itself. She's been to Prospect maybe a handful of times. She's been to the Isles of Alestria even fewer times than that. Again, her ship is not She has like a single a single sail ship. It's basically like a glorified schooner. A schooner is not something that you want to take on like a massive high sea adventure. But because you all have asked and because she feels confident in her crew, as well as that the sea will play nice thanks to her crewman Sigurd, who will not stop drinking salt water, that, you know, things will work out well enough in the end. But looking at the maps themselves, she ends up letting you know that there is... that, like, she's a little nervous going to the place where you all are headed, to the Exton Trench, where the Caelum Kingdom used to be. Primarily because there is a phenomenon that is known to the seafaring folk of this place, known as the Royal. And the Royal is effectively a massive maelstrom that exists over this trench, that if you are to look into the sidewalls of this funnel that leads down, there are a consistent color, or consistent flashes of color, blues, greens, reds, almost like there are wizards that are locked in battle inside of this whirlpool. And she is not confident that the Moonrunner will be able to effectively sail through there. So as much faith as she has put in her crew, she believes that you would need either a guide or to find a bigger ship for her to actually be able to sail. And even then, a bigger ship requires more crew, that sort of thing.
You'd also have to get it out there.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I wouldn't want to put the Moonrunner and its crew in danger. I will bring it up with the rest of the group, and you can just meander on the outskirts of the Maelstrom, and we can use the Moonrunner as a base, and send an away team involving the four of us.
And she... make a persuasion check. Normally you wouldn't have to, but this is asking a captain to put her crew's lives on the line, which she has done several times for you guys. And at this point, she's running out of people to trust on a crew.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not telling her to go to it. I'm saying don't go to it and just stay out here.
Okay, got it. Never mind then on the roll. At that, she says that Prospect is close enough to where you're headed that it might be better just to dock there, and see if there's somebody who possibly has a bigger vessel who's willing to sail out, at least get close. One of the things that she also brings up is that and you actually encounter one of their ships as well. There are two groups of actual pirates. And I say actual pirates because way back when we first met Oliviette, I made an off comment that she was a pirate captain, because everyone who sails a boat is a pirate, clearly. No, so these are actual pirates. There are two groups that have a territory that they prefer to go in. These two groups are called the Night Fangs and the Storm Crows. And they are, for lack of better words, slavers. Basically what you find out is that the Night Fangs and Storm Crows will, if they find ships that have been capsized or have fallen under hard times and the crew had to abandon ship, they will typically pose as a sort of like good Samaritan, that they will try and help those out who are on the high seas just free floating. Once they are on the ship, they will usually capture them, take their weapons, that sort of thing, and they run a trade to the north, to the Muskeg. It seems as if they specifically are looking for a food source for the Iskin. It seems easier for them that way, and a good source. Well, I say good source of money, but it's not exactly the type of thing one would condone necessarily.
We've had bad times with pirates to begin with, so these are things to look out for while we're there.
Things to look out for while you are there, and I would say if you, as far as having a high sea adventure with Oliviette along the way, you would definitely have encountered at least one Stormcrow vessel. It didn't seem like there was... They don't have much, the Stormcrows. They don't carry a lot of food. They don't carry a lot of water. It seems like they only carry supplies for the crew, of which they are, again, rather sparse. But all things considered, they were rather vicious. In total, they ended up having a 2-masted ship. So if you'd like, you could commandeer that. The only problem with commandeering a 2-masted vessel is that, again, you don't really have the crewmen, and it looks as though this Stormcrow vessel did not have the means to be able... Like, they didn't have any extra able-bodied sailors in their stockade beneath.
Would we be able to... I don't know enough about maritime, etc. Are we close enough to port that we could possibly like tow it back and then hire a crew?
You might be able to. The only problem is that it really comes down to size and being able to properly maneuver such a thing. Your ship is small in comparison. So as far as being able to properly...
You know what? I might have something for that.
Okay.
I'm a fucking Caelum. What if I summon a wind to push it to port and control it with a reduced crew?
Okay. I would say you could definitely do that. Sigurd, being a cleric of Umberly, is also able to assist in this, utilizing a control water spell, kind of helping to assist a current beneath the vessel itself to make its way towards Prospect. So thankfully, between you and Sigurd, you are able to kind of manage this much larger ship. It feels icky. Like the ship itself, like there is just like knowing what this ship has been used for and knowing the kind of people that had previously owned it, it just doesn't seem right for the most
part. Divine Sense, is it evil?
The ship itself is not evil, but the people who existed here previously most certainly would not be considered good aligned.
And terrible things have happened on this ship, so it feels wrong. It would be tempting to abandon it, but Cori's...
You could sell the ship at the port and then just use the monies for another ship.
It's probably the safer option. I was gonna say that Cori's core character arc is that nothing is beyond redemption. And she can literally bless the ship with a ceremony.
Yeah, you could. You gotta. You have there's still quite a bit of time. Like your encounter with the Stormcrows would happen maybe 2 weeks into your journey, so you still have about 2 weeks to figure out what to do with this boat.
Yeah, she'll spend some time meditating over this on whether or not she'll get like Oliviette on looking for buyers for it. But she's going to meditate on this and decide whether or not it's worth trying to claim it for Coralon.
For sure. And I would say when you ask Oliviette, see if you can find some buyers for this ship, she looks at you and just like nods like, yeah, I'll be sure to do that once we're in port and I can talk to people. Like she doesn't have
of course when we're at port. Yes.
Yes. So that is the long and short of it, at least for your maritime exchange. So Caelum, you are working on switching a red dragon scale armor's fire resistance to necrotic resistance.
Yeah.
Okay. So for that, it would basically take you the majority of this month. We wouldn't necessarily have you roll for it, just because there is enough time that you would be able to kind of manipulate and work around this. But it is still going to be taking quite a bit of materials, as well as either in like actual material or in gold cost, to actually get this swapped over. Mostly because this is something that you haven't, like, you've kind of done before, but to alter something that's so closely tied to an elemental plane, like a red dragon scale, as dragons primarily have like elemental energy that are coursing through them as well, it would be a little difficult, all things considered. I would say in total you'd be looking at like 5,000 gold in materials.
I can cover 1,000 of it. I'll make an inquiry to Arjhan with like receipts and stuff for this project.
How much do you need?
4,000 gold. Wrong accent. 4,000 gold.
Okay.
I'll save the receipts so we can tax this off as a work expense. Does this place do that?
No. You would pay taxes to me.
Oh. If we find any gold on this little venture down there, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Money, please.
Money.
Okay, so Caelum is going to be working on that. Arjhan, is there anything that you would like to specifically do during this time, or are you managing your multitude of businesses and doing other things?
I'm doing paperwork and sleeping.
That's fair. There's a lot of paperwork to be done on this one. I would say after about a week and a half, you end up getting a sending from Off Constantly, as you kind of let them know in the general direction where the Sanguine Order was. And you were having them, specifically, you were going to be asking the Bloodhunter orders about Orcus or about Caius? Orcus. So the Sanguine Order, they know a bit about Orcus, but a lot of the knowledge that they have is mostly knowledge that you already knew, specifically having been part of the Order previously. That information being commonly known as the Demon Prince of Undeath. Orcus was a paladin at one point that ended up getting corrupted. During the time of his corruption, he started off as just the like base form of like almost like a devil, worked his way up through the rankings and then further corrupted himself towards the point of demonhood, actually choosing that over being a devil, which is rather unheard of. As far as what his goals are, what his desires are, that sort of thing, you don't end up finding much, as it seems as though Orcus revels in the chaos that is usually brought about by unleashing undead hordes in places, which, again, as somebody personally for Arjhan, who not a huge fan of the undead, there is a lot of, I feel like if anything, Arjhan would have like tried to learn as much about followers of Orcus, that kind of thing, specifically to better combat any kind of undead presence. Primarily, there doesn't seem to be any like center for Orcus's worship. Either it seems like it is very spread out, rather far between. One thing that the Sanguine Order does end up bringing up is that in the town of Ilyard's Rest, they had actually heard mention a handful of years ago about a priest who had tried to resurrect his wife, but when none of the gods would listen, he ended up turning towards Orcus, and it seemed like that ended up being a little bit more successful for the priest, although whether or not they stayed within their holy order remained to be seen. And further, with Arjhan knowing that, you had actually helped his wife at one point. She was the lady in green of the in the Hollowlock ruins. She, a woman named Sandra, or that was named Sandra at one point, who, once her spirit was released and freed from this kind of unholy binding, was able to become a guardian of nature.
Okay, so was since it happened pretty quickly, I assume they weren't able to go to like the Hollow Guard.
No, they haven't been able to get to the Hollow Guard yet.
Okay. And it's more just background information that they were able to uncover, but not anything really actionable.
No, not actionable,
as far as defense or protections against Thanatos.
Not that they've been able to deduce themselves. That might be a question better suited for either the Hollowed Guard, or I believe there's also a Blood Hunter order that's aligned with the Raven Queen.
That was the Hollow Guard.
Yeah. So that would be a question better suited for the Hollowed Guard. But just from the Sanguine Order, that's all that they were able to gather.
Still the Sanguine Order, but Arjhan's one was the Witch Knights.
Yes, Witch Knights. And then next on, unless you specify otherwise, to go to the Hollowed Guard.
Well, he doesn't know where they are. He was hoping they would ask.
Gotcha.
Or he told them to ask
the Witch
Knights where the Hollow Guard was.
Gotcha. Yeah, so right now, yeah, they're in the process of gathering the information from the Witch Knights. Their next stop, as far as finding out more, is going to be to, apparently the Sentinel Beasts are relatively close as well. So they're going to try and see if they possibly know where the Hollowed Guard is. But as far as where the Hollow Guard are, they just aren't 100% sure as to where. So they're at least going to try and track them down.
And just each one of these is, it's not all of the Witch Knights, it's not all of the Sentinel Beasts. They're just like
clusters.
Where's the nearest cells of each of these orders?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's the information that they are able to give to you anyways. As far as their journey, then I would say towards the end of the month-long period, they would let you know that they had found the Sentinel Beast, or at least the cluster of the Sentinel Beast that they were able to find. And they ended up one of that order is actually going to be joining them on the next leg of the excursion to try and track down the Hollowed Guard. So they got that going for them. As far as the individual that would be helping, if you will refresh my memory from our Tyrant Security game, who was the older gentleman?
Lyric.
So yes, Lyric is going to be helping out off constantly on the search for the Hollowed Guard. That's a callback, but to the future. So it is then towards the end of the month that each of you receives either an individual invitation, or Gwen, you're just using the sending stone to let your party members know you get married.
Get married. The invitation, if it comes from Gwen, from her lips, is just, hey guys, so looks like I'm getting married. I'd love y'all to be there. Here's the date. Dress nice.
Are you offering them a +1?
Yeah, well, yes. She's offering, she expects Cori to come with a +1. It's implied that the others have the opportunity, but I don't think she's expecting them to come with a +1.
Okay. Sounds good.
Caelum and Arjhan just both show up with dates, and it's all like, whoa, what did I miss?
A lot.
You've been gone a month. Things move pretty fast. So it is, and we will say, going into Gwen's wedding. I'm assuming that there are some house shenanigans that end up playing out, a mix of teleports, that sort of thing. So, you know, just really utilizing the fact that your wizard can go from here to there lickety-split.
Ahead of time, Caelum sends a sending and invites Diantha to be his +1.
Ooh, Kaelin of the Spring.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's up. She loves weddings. She loves to cry at weddings.
Bless her.
Oh.
She's also never been to a halfling wedding, so
There's going to be a lot of food and booze.
yeah, she's totally down for this.
Awesome.
Okay. And then, Arjhan, are you bringing any guests to the wedding?
Not on a 2.
Okay. I was going to say, you don't have to roll for it if you just want to bring a guest.
I had a guess in mind. It's not something he would think about.
Okay. Sounds good. So, with that, it is the day of our daughter Gwen's wedding. And as you arrive, again, you can outfit yourself to the tens. What does everyone's wedding attire look like? To see your friend and adventuring companion tie the halfling knot with your other great friend, Phillip Spicebottom.
Lord. Okay.
I can start with Diantha,
Go ahead.
if you'd prefer. So, Diantha's clothes, for the most part, she likes to make a statement. She absolutely loves kind of like defying any kind of societal norm, at least as far as being a Caelum goes on the Isle of Spring. However, she understands that this is a very tasteful event. This is something that like you want to dress nice for and not be like, basically you're around strangers. They're meeting you for the first time. So she has her ring, her Caelum's ring. It's a very nice, it's like a kind of nicer coat, but it has a more of like a fur-lined shawl around the top of it, specifically because this is going to be happening in like a late February, early March, so the weather is just getting like that right kind of crisp to it. It's very free-flowing, a little revealing, but she prefers it that way. She jokes that she prefers breathable fabrics, all things considered. Otherwise, there's just too much constraint. Or actually, no. Knowing Diantha, she would show up in a suit. It would be a very nice suit. It would have, and it would have like kind of pinstripes on it. Like it would be a nice, like darker red. But when you look closely at the pinstripes, they look like small, like interwoven flowers that seem to kind of be going up and down the sides of the suit. And she is wearing like a nice button-up shirt, but the shirt overextends her belt buckle that's still, that she has not changed. Is the only belt buckle that she wants to wear, given the situation. But again, her hair's done very well. She still has her glasses on. And at this point, she just seems like she is ready to have a good time at a wedding.
Caelum's been using the cream the entirety of like the month. So he's been aging down quite a bit. But he has this singular white streak running through his hair that's been slicked back. Over the course of the month, he's cut it short. But he's wearing a God, how to describe it? It's this sheer but stiff outer shirt that has feather patterns on it, underneath of which is like just like a turtleneck, some black slacks, very nice shoes, and he's wearing a sash that is chained, and it is very reminiscent of like raven wings.
Okay.
I'll post the shirt in questions for the courts for anyone who wants to see it.
Hell yeah. Okay, so that is Diantha and Caelum. Cori, what are you wearing to your friend's wedding?
Well, theme is love, so Cori's gonna go in spring form. And like traditionally, like a Caelum, I guess Diantha's not showing up in armor. Traditionally, Cori would normally come in like some ornate polished armor to something like this. But having spent a lot of time with Oliviette, Cori's starting to like get used to the idea of just, hanging out, being normal, being with the people that you love. So Cori's just gonna wear like some nice civilian robes. And there's a lot of pink, pastel, maybe some purple. And I'll even say they're pretty frilly, like some super like feminine robes on a masculine Cori going to this. No, we're not going to wear white to somebody else's wedding. It's going to be mostly pink. I'll do that.
Okay. Oliviette at this point she does not get to bring out her nice dress very often. She likes wearing her nice dress, but again, very rarely do situations arise. It is the same like captain's red color that she typically wears. Her hat is still there in full effect. She's got to have the hat because, again, sunlight sensitivity can be a real mother. But her hair, which has grown down a little bit longer, she has styled in such a way that like it's pulled back, but she still has like the kind of hook like hair furls that are coming down as her hair does tend to get more of like a wavy quality. And it has a very nice like silver seam work on it. and kind of has more of a sequenced pattern towards the very bottom of the skirt, or the dress, not the skirt, sorry. And she wears normally. She would prefer to have her rapier with her. She realized that you don't need to have a rapier with you at a halfling wedding, but she insisted that she bring it anyway. It is stowed nearby, which, Cori, you understand. I mean, your weapon is on your ring. It's completely easy to actually have hidden. But she is she looks very nice, all things considered. And Cori, as far as you know, like, when she pulled this dress out, the last time that she actually was able to wear something like this was probably back when she was still, like, in the Underdark. Like, she hasn't worn something this nice in a while.
I'm gonna addend my fashion choices.
Yeah.
Because I came up with more. I'm gonna say like a billowing like sailor's shirt, with a waistcoat, and then like a very nicely tailored skirt. We'll do that.
Okay. And Arjhan.
What season is it?
It is late winter, early spring.
Oh, he comes in looking like Arden from Final Fantasy 15, just without the hat.
Time to look up what Arden looks like.
I'll post that up in Quest for the Cards as well.
Oh, I love this. Oh,
Like,
for sure.
Like if it was gonna be hotter, it was gonna be like something a little bit more like Victorian, Regency era, like waistcoat, and if it wasn't too hot, then like maybe a something a little bit more tailored over it. But nah, something a little bit heavier, something a little bit flowier. Yeah, this.
For sure. Love that. All right, so at this point, you are all seated towards the front. You are part of Gwen's bridal party. There is Gwen's dad, Gwen's mom. Oliver is there as well. Or no, not Oliver. Blech. That's not his name. Your brother's name. What's your brother's name?
You made it up.
Owain.
Owain, yeah.
Owain. I know it started with an
Thanks,
O.
Noctua Magna,
Yes,
who is
thank you, Noctua. Clutch right now.
fucking lore keeper here.
Thank God. Somebody needs to be. So it is the three members of Gwen's family. And then there is all of you. Gwen, I would think that you had an empty chair specifically placed, not for any like party member that you've lost, but specifically because Grayskull wanted a spot to manifest at a certain point, so that way he could see his little buddy end up getting married.
There are Goliaths there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I would assume that like the Goliaths are like the bridal party. Like you invited your friends and they're there, but it's just like, oh my God, no, we've been best friends since I was in like second grade. Of course they're my best man. Yes. Yeah.
And I assume that there is sort of a two-part ceremony. The first part is the very traditional halfling part, and then but Gwen is dressed in the traditional Goliath wedding attire, which is a lot of feathers adorned, shoulders exposed. Her hair is down and sort of flowing freely at her side for like the first time ever. It's a lot longer than you guys think it is. And then she's got sort of a nice crop top, her tattoo on display. She has a very traditional belt with feathers on it that have like big flowy pants. And she's wearing like fancy sandals. I don't know how to describe that, but like they're nice sandals. And she's got black lipstick on, and sort of more adornment on her face, drawings, tribal markings. And she is, boy, does she look like she doesn't notice anyone else in the room.
Because while you dressed up in traditional Goliath, Phillip dressed up like the little prince man that he is. Phillip is wearing, I would want to say, just like the nicest tailored suit that you could fit him in. His best man, as luck would have it, is Todd. Todd's been there through it all. Todd knows him better than anybody. So when you are walking down this aisle to look at the front, you see all of your friends, you see all of the halflings that you left behind, you see all of the Goliaths that took you in, and in front of everybody, there is none other than Phillip, the little adventurer who could, and standing next to him, trying to eat his coattail, is Todd. And he keeps like having to like, Todd, stop.
Just like not a tear falls down her face, but they are threatening to. She looks like she is just smiling from ear to ear. There is a blush upon her. She is very happy.
Okay, Gwen, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
In typical Goliath fashion, who is walking you down this aisle? Is it Chua? Is it Sigourney? Or is it your halfling dad?
Oh boy, I think that Gwen would she would have her halfling dad on one arm.
Okay.
And then on the other arm, she would do chorizo.
I like
Big
that.
brother. So she is just like one hand is like completely in the air as his hand is as far down as possible. She's got her other arm locked in her father's nook of his arm, and yeah.
And of course, Gwen, once you reach there, there is like, there's like a one of the spice bottoms have like tried to get somebody to like speak at this wedding, but you insisted that it is Chua who is going to be overseeing it, because if this is going to be like, not only is this going to be like part of Goliath culture, this is going to be part of the halflings. Like the halflings just need somebody of authority, but it's very particular that that somebody of authority be the spirit caller, be the sky watcher. So the ceremony is beautiful. There is music, there is merriment, there is everything that Gwen, you could have possibly wanted. It seemed like, as one of the heroes of Greenreach, people are a little bit more willing to kind of, help you out when you ask and demand things. Do you think Gwen would be a bridezilla?
No, Phillip would be.
Oh, Phillip 100% a bridezilla.
Gwen has like, no, we have to do the traditional things, but Phillip is no, they have to be rhododendrons. They cannot be
They can't be mums this season?
Exactly.
Okay. So, I would say that the ceremony again is beautiful. It goes by fantastically. And Caelum, Diantha at one point during it will actually like tilt her head and rest it on your shoulder.
Yeah. Caelum just bonks noggins with her.
And Oliviette, like, she like is definitely like holding onto your hand, Cori, of just like, this is great. Like, this is also for her one of the first times that you guys have like had a date that's not been on the ship in your entire like time together. Like, it's either like date on the ship or you were up on the moon fighting shit. So like to her, like, this is one of those just like, wow, this is so nice. The lighting is incredible. I love this. Like, she's having a great time.
Yes, of course. And Cori's got tears in his eyes the entire ceremony, and is just like very lovey-dovey with Oliviette, just like, oh my God, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful?
There's like a little mage hand with a handkerchief that just sneaks its way onto your lap, Cori.
Just takes it, doesn't even notice where it comes from, and like holds on to it like it's a lifeline.
Yeah, like Diantha definitely, like maybe it's something to do with spring form, but again, y'all love to cry at weddings, and this is just like, oh my God, this is so great. Like she's just, Diantha's just like, nom, 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 like soaking all of this up.
Caelum had the foresight to pack multiple handkerchiefs.
Mm-hmm. Smart boy. So, it is then, after the ceremony is done, it is now time for the reception, song, dance. Gwen, as long as you and Phillip are near each other for, I believe it's up to 7 days, you'll have +2 AC.
Hell yeah. Finally. I'm still not over 20. It's fine.
You don't need to. You're a barbarian.
No, I don't. I know. Yeah, Gwen actually doesn't get trashed. She is like, you guys have never seen Gwen be more hospitable, like especially towards like the halfling. Like she goes to every table with Phillip and like greets everyone and does all that sort of stuff.
There are many tables.
There are many tables. There are beverages beyond your heart's desire. The food is incredible. It's like going to like Germany, where they have just like the best home food. There's potatoes everywhere, and it just fills you with love and hope for the future. And then you get to drink a bunch, which is helpful. But yeah, she is just living in this moment, and she'll go over to the table, guys.
Congratulations, Gwen.
Thanks. Who'd have thought that I'd be the first one, right?
Diantha raises her hand.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I got an invitation in plenty of time.
I'll make sure you drink as much as you can, and if you don't make it out, they'll wheelbarrow you out by at least 2 a.m. So
no worries. I want to have at least as clear a memory of this as I can. This is my first material plane wedding, actually.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. No. I mean, weddings aren't exactly like this at all. Anywhere.
Really?
Where, no. Have you ever been to an elven wedding?
No.
Yeah.
I actually
they don't
only
really
been to
happen
halfling wedding
at all.
Yeah.
Well, they happen like once per lifetime, and our lifetimes are very long. And there's a lot more paperwork involved. So
it's more of a political thing, really.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, like, what you would describe as, I believe, one of the spicy bots?
Spice bottom.
Spice bot. Are you taking that name?
No.
Smart choice. One of your new extended family was calling it a church or a court wedding.
Yeah.
Something similar. It's more akin to that.
Yeah. No,
this is wonderful. Absolutely, just
a
real delight. You nailed it, and I hope that you have many years of happiness.
Thanks. Hopefully, we don't die soon.
That is something, you know what? As my wedding wish to you, may you not die a horrible and gruesome recent in the future death.
Here.
Cheers to that.
Leans over.
Is that like an actual thing?
Is that a fae thing, or is that a?
And
okay, thank you. I appreciate it. No, that's great.
yeah, Diantha is just like, of course it's a fae thing. Obviously it's a fae thing. And like looks at you, Cori, and just, right, Cori?
And Cori's just like,
fucking sweet. All right. Gwen needs more of a hero complex. All right. Well, can I get you guys anything? Is there anything that you're left wanting?
This is your celebration. Do you want anything?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I mean, I could use a glass of water, I guess, if you're going up to the table.
Yeah, Cori will stand up to go and get that. I want for nothing but your happiness, Gwen.
Thanks, Cori.
One water coming up.
Thanks.
Goes and grabs that.
Olivia makes her way to you, Gwen, and she just says, the first time that you were on my ship, you were a ragtag individual who looked like you slept in the hay several nights prior.
Yeah.
And I have also seen you getting thwomped by Cyclops on the boat. What I'm trying to say is, you look incredible.
Thanks.
Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful.
Thank you.
This wedding, incredible. By far, the best wedding on the surface I've been to.
Wow. Thanks. There's gonna be a little bit of a gladiatorial thing later. So if you want to join in the fight, the Goliaths are gonna like wrestle and shit.
And Olivia's like, I really did not come wrestling, not so much. I did not come prepared.
No, it's fine.
And she leans in and says, are we allowed to take bets?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because we are allowed to take bets when they do ceremonial wrestling, like. So I just wanted to make sure.
I can give you points too if you want.
Let me know who's the strongest one. I'm not trying to make coin. I'm just saying if it happens.
I mean,
and you can see that, like, Oliviette, like, being like, who can I bet on to win in a fight? Like, she a little rosy cheeks right now. Like, she's a little drunk.
Sauce?
Little sauce. Yeah.
Arjhan, do you want to dance?
Just a grimace. Sure.
Okay, I'll show you how. Put your feet on mine.
There's 350 pounds of Dragon Man on your toe, on your fancy sandal.
I have a 20 strength. It's fine. No, I think when like she'll kind of, it's one of those, because she like is like the size of a little kid. It's more of the like holding hands and swaying sort of thing. Unless you pick her up and then she'll like sway with you. But she very much wanted to dance with her best friend.
He tries his best.
It's awkward, but it's adorable.
He is more concentrating on not making his claws on his very big feet stab you through your fancy sandals.
Fair.
There is also during the dance portion, the Spice Bottoms are they're a little trauma response at this because of past experiences with the Goliaths. However, Chorizo and his scouts will give you in lieu of your Goliath father not being there, they will give you a warrior's haka to send you off into your married life. They know that you're coming back to the camp, but like they still want to give you like their blessing as a group as much as they can.
Oh yeah, she is. I think that's the point where like 2 tears fall down her cheeks. She's just like kind of holding her shit together, but she is very eyes locked into this.
Yeah, sorry. I looked over at Danae and she's just it is at this point that after the dance has been done and after food has been distributed, that Chua, standing next to the head of the Spice Bottom family, then asks, or then rather calls out speech. And they begin basically asking generally, does anyone here have anything nice to say to wish the happy couple on their journey forward?
Caelum tentatively stands up. When I first met Gwen and Phillip, well, I was just a new adventurer. Gwen encouraged me to be my better self, and here's hoping that even though Phillip is a man of high caliber, she can push him to be even better. And he'll raise a glass towards Gwen.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers from everyone.
Shit. When I first met Gwen, our friendship started off as chaotically and as destructively as anything else has been.
There's a roll of laughter as you say this.
But Gwen has always been one of the most honest and strongest people that I have ever known. But not just literally. And she, more than anything else, always sticks up for those that she loves, and who has been picked up many times by Gwen, who has, I'm pretty sure she has actually seen deep into myself, like actually seen my heart. And Gwen, I wish you all the best because you deserve it. Phillip, I think you're neat.
And he just like he yells back, "Thanks, boss!" And as he does, there's like a roll of laughter again.
Cori stands. When I first met Gwen, she was the biggest troublemaker in the town.
Nods from the entire like the Goliaths and the halflings. Like, yeah, no, she was. Yep.
Within a week of working with her, I found myself arrested, and I never thought that would happen to me. But since then, she has gotten me out of more scrapes that I have gotten myself into than I can count.
Oh! RJ's gone.
He elfed off.
Just keep going. It's fine.
Gwen, you've had your shit together more than any of us. And I hope all of the happiness to you. Thank you for having our back. We'll always have yours.
And Olivia
Cheers!
will raise her glass with you as you wish Gwen a happy future with this young Phillip. And as Gwen, you receive these kind words from your adventuring party. That is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, hopefully with an RJ. If not, figure it out, because we're fucking rolling. But with that, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. We're going to, again, be back in 5 to 10, so hopefully you'll still be here, because I know there will be, and we'll see you all shortly. All right, everybody, see you soon! Hello, everybody!
Simon.
We're back! Oh, yes?
So, a drunk adventurer walks back home holding a duck and says, This is the angry dragon I was telling you about. And his wife says, That's a duck, you idiot. And he says, I was talking to the duck.
The duck walks into a bar wearing one shoe, and the bartender goes, "Hey, I think you lost your shoe." And the duck goes, "No, I found one."
Love it. Also, hello, Raiders, and welcome to the show. We have returned. We found ourselves in RJ. He had been lost to the aether, but we managed to have finishing up our wedding speeches for our dear friend Gwen. So, at that, the general wedding celebration has finished. At that point, there are like guest rooms that are set aside.
There was one more thing
Yes.
Caelum wanted to do before the wedding ended.
Yeah, of course.
He excused himself partway through. And when the last speech gets finished, there is a loud bang sound as a firebolt goes up into the air, and then it explodes into a little flower pattern, followed by a bunch of scorching rays that follow afterwards. And it's just a fireworks show. He's also going to use Skywrite to just write "Congratulations, Phillip and Gwen."
Oh, it's so sweet. I have a vignette as everything winds down, unless anybody else has anything. Cori is sitting in a state of dishevelment, like it's been a long night, and like is ruminating to the person next to him, just sort of like, I can't believe we've come this far. It's really rather remarkable. Like, look at her. She's married. Can you believe it, Todd? I just can't get over it. And look at you and me, we've come far too. Cori gets a little into his cups and spends the rest of the night talking to Todd.
Arjhan catches the bouquet.
It's one of those, like, do you catch it on purpose, or is it like shit just like was near your face and just like, oh god, like
It's like that.
oh
Yes.
damn it. Excellent. Oliviette, she's just like she's living on the dance floor. She's using her fancy footwork as best as she can. Just like saying hello to everybody. Once it gets darker out, she'll like take off her hat, and I feel like that's when she ends up finding you again, Cori. Is that while you're talking to Todd, you just feel a large, a wide-brimmed hat just like plop on top of your head. And it's Oliviette who ends up picking you up. Just saying, the equivalent of like, let's find you some water.
Aye, Captain.
And she definitely, she has a smile on her face when you call her Captain. She seems to like this. So Caelum, Diantha will, she'll like when she realizes that you're the one making fireworks, she's all about that. Like she will go, you see, like while she's next to you, she asks, "Can you make a heart?"
I could certainly try.
And with that, you see her ring glows in this magnificent pink as what looks like a rifle manifests in her hands.
Oh, I see. Okay, hold on.
And she like points it up towards the sky.
In Caelum's hand, there is a fireball forming, and he hucks it into the sky. 300 feet up, it explodes into like a heart pattern.
Okay. And as it does, she fires her rifle. As she does, rather than like any kind of bullet that one might expect coming out, instead it looks like a large pink bird emerges out of the barrel. And with the backdrop of congratulations, Phillip and Gwen, there is a large heart that explodes into the sky. And in the center of this heart is what looks like a magnificent creature. Like, this is a bird unlike that is seen on the material plane. This is basically a slightly tipsy Caelum is using a powerful archfey for a display piece at the center of this heart. As Gwen, you just watched as with this magnificent scree, this bird unfurls its wings for a brief moment.
Yeah!
And then Diantha looks towards you, Caelum, as the cheers, as people begin to cheer and the music again sort of picks up. And I imagine that the music being played at this wedding, who here has seen Back to the Future 3? Specifically the third Back to the Future. ZZ Top, it's like them as the band at this gathering. You have the halfling equivalent of ZZ Top that's playing folksy music for you all to dance to.
2 of their beards are fully just scraping the ground.
Oh yeah. It's wonderful. It's magnificent. No, and at that, Diantha then looks towards you, Caelum, and with a very knowing smile, she looks at you and says, "They're playing our song." She'll move in for a smooch.
Caelum is surprised. The smooch connects, but he falls backwards with her into a bush. And we will
fade to black
fade
on that.
There.
Figure out how comfortable Caelum is with the Caelum of spring being kind of into him. And when we say kind of into him, she went to a different plane because you invited her to a wedding.
It's a big deal.
Don't worry, they'll wake up in bed. It's fine.
Nice.
Gwen carries Phillip across the threshold.
And when you do, Phillip looks at you in the eyes and in the most serene way. My hero.
Shut up. Throws him on the bed.
Okay, and then fade to black as well. And then, unless there's anything else that would like to happen over the evening at this wedding as the celebration comes to an end, that is where we will go into the next day. At this point, the Spice Bottoms are like trying to send you off with so much food and drink and other things. And like, Gwen, you stayed relatively sober through the event. I'm guessing up until your friends started saying really nice things about you. And at that point, you were just like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember talking to Phillip's mother, but she loves you. She thinks that you are so nice and just like such a polite person.
Mm-hmm.
She can see why her son fell in love with you. And you're just like, yes.
Thanks, Patricia.
Yeah, she is very much just like, oh, yes. But with that being the final day of the wedding, for the sake of travel and actually getting to Prospect and all of that jazz, I will leave this question up to the party. Because Gwen, you just got married. Do you want to have there be like a few days of downtime and then Prospect? Or are you just like, hey, we got married yesterday. Wow, what a great celebration. I have like venturing stuff to do.
At the request of Caelum, he'd ask for a few more days.
Gwen was ready to go, but she'll hang out for a while.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say
She'll probably travel back with her tribe with Phillip. Like, she'll spend like that next day with the halflings, with her parents and her brother, and then travel with the tribe back. They're probably hoofing it because it's like, we don't want to leave the tribe without a lot of the main people that run it for too long. And
Gwen, when you ask about or when you're with your family, you Owain actually says for you to wait for a brief second, and he will go into his room, and when he comes back, he will show you something that, as he describes, the best brother-in-law made for him. And you see that it is a little Gwen figurine.
Oh my god. That is adorable. And now you can take me on adventures.
And Owain nods. And your parents admit he always does. Like, it's like when you have like the young kid who's just like, this is my stuffed animal. I will take it that is Owain with the figure that he has of his sister.
Gwen will say her goodbyes to her family and like, hopefully, I know I haven't informed you guys on like all the things that I'm going to be doing and when I'm going to be back, but there's kind of a big thing I need to handle. And once that thing is handled, I'll have a lot more time to come back and see you guys and Wayne and help out around the house. You know, like there's a couple things that I've seen that are a little out of place that I want to like fix up, the little holes or unstable poles.
And your dad just sort of like his arms crossed, and he again kind of gives you this knowing smile that like the last time you came, you dropped off a fuck ton of money. And he's just like, take your time. We know that you're doing your best.
Yeah. And you guys are doing all right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of work to be done around these parts. A lot of fences to be put back up. We're a little bit more weary of snowfall these days, but all things considered, you know, we're doing all right. When he says that, he gives you, like, the dad wink.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything you ever need, just write or send a message or something.
I think the only thing that we need is for you to come back safe.
I'll do my best.
As far as sending a letter, it's not that hard to find the Goliaths.
Nah. Plus, we're going to start sending trades up here, so.
Then I will make sure to at least get 1 or 2 letters down your way.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Oh, and if I ever send a sending to you again, you know, the thing where my voice was in your head for a little bit?
That was wild.
Yeah. You have 25 words, and you kind of like, you can kind of feel initiating it in your head as like a reply. It's like putting pen to paper, but in your brain space. Just expect that the next 25 things you say out of your mouth are going to be sent to me, okay?
What if I'm in the middle of doing something where I don't want those thoughts on paper? And your mom, like, backhands him on the shoulder.
Just, ignore the message.
You can reply to it at any time. Caelum pipes up from the back.
It's fine. I probably won't send a ton of them unless, once we start going into the big dangerous stuff.
And at that, Owain looks at you and says, but it's not too dangerous, right?
She kneels down, like scrunches down a little bit to get to his level and says, "Your big sister has to save the world, my dude. gonna be dangerous, but you know I'm the strongest person on this planet, so I can handle myself. Plus, you see my friends? The one who made the fireworks in the sky, Cori can change themselves into any form they want and like teleport and shit. And Arjhan, big fucking dragon dude. A big dragon dude.
And when you say that, your parents are both just like maybe don't swear around your brother.
Sorry. But what I'm saying is, if anybody's gonna handle this, it's gonna be your big sister.
He will lean forward to give you a hug.
All right, I'll get some cool stuff for you the next time I go to the moon, okay?
And then there's like a moment just, next time? You went to the moon?
Oh yeah. Oh, I have so many stories to tell you, my little man. So many. I'll start writing them down for you, okay?
And he nods very expectantly. Right. Yeah. He's super into the fact that you like give stories, please.
Yes. I'll have to tell you how I got this eye.
And your dad is like, I have been meaning to ask that, but again, you're hanging around a large dragon man. There's a lot.
Yeah.
In your contract.
As Gwen will ruffle her brother's hair, stand up, and as she's seen to the door by her parents, she'll just be like, I met Talos, like the god Talos, and I had to make a deal with him. He took my eye, but I can see fine out of this one. That's how I got this.
You're like, Owain's, wow, really?
No, and... out of his earshot, out of his earshot.
And your parents are just like, there's a pause. Like, they don't know what to say. Their kid's just like, yeah, I met a god. It's not a halfling one, but he's dope. Like, and I think that they like do the like your mom is just
honey.
like just like doesn't know what to say, and your dad just like arm on her, arm on your shoulder, and he nods and says, make good choices.
Thanks, Pops. Bye, Wayne.
Just like he like nods and like holds up the figure and like articulates the arm to make it wave, to make like a smaller you wave back at you.
She laughs on the way out, goes on her way.
Question for you, Simon.
Yeah.
By this point, the armor's complete, right?
I would say yes. I would say it was completed like Gwen basically gave you the like, hey, my wedding's on this day, and like you and Kendek worked OT to like, we have to get this wedding gift done.
I want to say Caelum didn't present it at the wedding because this scene would be funnier. From out of the corner by the fence, Caelum just pipes up to Gwen. You're not gonna go adventuring just like that, are you?
What the fuck's wrong with that? I've been wearing this for like 4 years.
Drops the portable hole on the ground and pulls out a I think it's scale mail that Gwen gave him. A scale mail piece. He and Kendek have been working really hard on it. Basically, it's form-fitting with a chest piece and a fur pauldron on the side, and you can like clasp and unclasp a cloak to the back of it. But it is of dark green metal, so it matches Gwen's aesthetic.
Ooh, holy how did you guys get this done so fast?
A lot of sleepless nights.
She kind of like rustles her eyebrows so that she'll go and like hug his legs together. Thank you, Caelum.
Yeah, you're worth it though.
I'm glad you could come, you know. I know that everyone's kind of busy right now, but
honestly, this has been the most relaxed I've been in the time we've all been together. It's been a blast.
Yeah. And I mean, really, you were kind of my first friend in the group. So I jumped out of a window for you.
You don't let me forget that.
It's because I care about you, kid.
Yeah, well, I care about you too. Put the armor on.
She puts her arms up.
There is the satisfying like boom. For sure.
Right. Well,
It's necrotic resistance.
Yes.
yeah, so you could just swap it with the armor resistance necrotic.
Yeah.
Well, we'll meet up in a few days. I'll pop by the tribe to pick you up, or do you want to meet me over at Arjhan's? And then we can teleport over to Oliviette's.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the tribe with the peeps, so that everyone gets back. We'll do a one night celebration. It might be like a 3-night celebration, depending on how rowdy they all get. But yeah, pick me up at the tribe.
Cool.
And so what's going on with you and the Eldrin chick?
Oh, Diantha, we're gonna do a quick tour of the continent.
I see.
Don't wait up
And-
for us.
Now I need more information, Caelum! Runs after him.
And I would say at that point, Cori, you have kind of been not necessarily like sidewalled, but Diantha, when she has a moment to speak with you, lets you know that things have been like wild on like the bureaucratic sense for the Feywild. Apparently, at the far edge of the Isle of Winter, something happened, and now it's connected to like this weird plane of shadow that she thinks is where the Raven Queen is. They're not sure. They haven't sent any scouts there yet, but they have been getting quite a few ravens coming by. Cypress is doing well with his continued training to further become the Caelum of Winter. But again, just this like the Feywild has a new section now, and they don't really know what to make of that. The Judges 3 don't really know what to make of that. Should they try and initiate contact with the beings that are from there? They assume things live there, but again, it's like there was a fog, the fog lifted, and there's just more shit that they were not really anticipating there being.
I have a question that I hadn't really considered before.
Yeah, for sure.
Did the Kaelans know that I'm mantling Coralon?
Because that happened during the fall, or like during your experience on the Winter Isle, and that was still like not really fully becoming things.
I don't think Cori really truly accepted that until after they came back from the Feywild, you know, at like all those 3 years or whatever.
Yeah. And even then, like, that was like, it took like people mentioning it in the Shadowfell and like other places for Cori to even like come to terms with that. So yeah, like as far as Diantha knows, it hasn't really been brought up.
Cool. I think that Cori kind of like suddenly realizes like, oh shit, I haven't told anyone about this. And he's gonna kind of like skirt around the whole like everything that Cori has to do with like being a god in every single way, like including the Raven Queen stuff. But he'll fill him in on like everything that happened with the Raven Queen and et cetera, et cetera. Like Raven Queen's back and is now a different entity. Like
They will look different.
Yeah.
Wink.
That's well
And oddly the same.
and oddly the weird. Yeah, no, Cori's gonna we'll fill in Diantha on everything that's happened since he's gotten here.
Okay. Yeah, and
Um,
Diantha is like, she's very interested in this.
Yeah. And I do think like this is like literally over breakfast. Like we're talking like work, like first thing after we woke up after a wedding. And like Cori's just got like a glass of orange juice in his hand, and he just goes, I was just starting to get comfortable. I've been spending time with my significant, and I don't know, I haven't really slowed down since I got to the material plane, and well, things just don't really stop, do they?
And Diantha smiles. That's same gap-tooth smile that she has, and says, from my experience, that's spring. Things don't really stop, ever. It's always changing, always growing, ever shifting. It's wonderful. Really. Keeps you on your toes, for sure.
Yeah, certainly. I just
kind of like it here, though. It's nice. It's like a vacation for me. I don't really have responsibilities while I'm here other than, well, you know, Caelum's nice.
He is.
Very much so.
I'm glad you're enjoying it here. I am too. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm missing out on something else. Wish I could be in more places than just here.
And at that, Diantha, were you like sitting next to each other, or were you sitting across from each other?
I imagine she was sitting and Cori was like leaning against a windowsill or something.
Okay. And Diantha says, and that's why you're best suited for fall. Because there's one thing that you're forgetting. You can want to live all of these different lives, all of these different moments, because you are the Caelum of the season that changes the most. But you're forgetting one thing. And she looks over towards Oliviette, who I'm assuming like Oliviette and Arjhan are talking about something over breakfast. You're forgetting to live in the moment. Live in the here, the now. You might feel like you're missing out on all sorts of other things. But like you said, you're spending time with your significant other. Sometimes that's good enough. Sometimes that's healing.
Thank you for your wisdom, Diantha. Enjoy your time on the natural plane.
I will. Caelum said something about wanting to take a tour of the continent. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Is it like the island?
It's a bit like an island, but larger. It's everything's bigger here.
She sort of like looks at all the halflings and she's like, I wouldn't say everything.
As he steps away from her, he sort of thinks to himself, live in the moment. All right, live in the moment. He puts his orange juice down. He'll just walk over to Oliviette and kiss her.
Arjhan, you are like mid-conversation with Oliviette, who's talking about like, so we got this second ship. We're figuring like we'll sell it once we get to Prospect. I don't really know what to... Smooch.
Yep. And then Cori will sit down and like discuss the ship with them.
Do you need a moment?
Nope, just living in the moment. We do have this ship. Unfortunately, it used to belong to slavers, so I believe that I can wash it of any taint in the religious sense, but I thought that instead of acting on my own on this matter, I would involve you in the decision-making process. We could sell it, but it would be a suitable ship for our needs. Cori looks to Oliviette.
Oliviette, like at that point when you say live in the moment, and then proceed, like you can tell that there is just like 1,000-yard stare in a good way that is like taking over her, where she's just like, it is a good moment. Yes. So there's a place where we need to be going. This extant trench that you all believe will have this thing that will defeat Kais. Near this trench is what many sailors refer to as the Royal. It is a massive whirlpool, a maelstrom. The Moonrunner, while faithful, is not exactly... She is not well equipped for maritime excursions. It's traditionally a coastal vessel. But we figured test it out on the open seas. It's been working so far, but I don't think that it will do well near the Royal. We would need either a bigger ship or to find somebody who is willing to take us there once we hit Prospect.
Do you have contacts in Prospect?
I have only ever been there once or twice.
And its Prospect, is that in Alestria, or is
It is
it?
not. From what you are able to gather, it is like a way station, almost. Like it's a man-made island, though not very large.
Okay. As an aside, I assume during this downtime, Arjhan would have been kept up to date with how his mechanical dragon thing is.
It's coming along, yeah. As far as completion goes, you guys had done a pretty good test run of it quite a while ago, actually. I would say, if anything, it is in the final stages of development. At least for ground travel, if you wished to have it be aerial or aquatic, those are different upgrades that they would need time in order to adjust. There's also the I believe it was a soul cannon. Is that the description that we gave it? The
No.
the engine that our group was looking for.
No,
The infernal engine?
The infernal engine.
no, that was not part of the actual thing itself. That was for a different thing.
Okay.
That was the creature that y'all were trying to scavenge
Right. Yes.
to make a weapon. That was for
Okay.
somebody else.
Got you. So yeah, as far as like it being a ground unit, it's completed. They're still working on the lift process.
So it wouldn't say be pressurized and watertight.
Probably not.
I don't have a submarine yet. Are you
Not
fucking kidding me?
We're level 18. Is a submarine impressive in D&D?
I mean, it took a while for it to show up in Dragon Heist, so yeah.
Yeah, there's the Scarlet Marpanoff.
Yes. That one.
Though I don't want to be in a submarine in a maelstrom.
Well, we can go to it from like, it's just like around there, right?
Yeah. You could go beneath the waves, you know.
He said the thing.
Before
Roll
you got
credits.
No, we can't. We still have time left.
Okay. Actually, since you brought it up, Is a submarine impressive? Could we get a submarine?
I would say if the overall goal was to get a submarine, you guys could work towards like building out a submarine. As far as submersible crafts being readily available as they aren't very common, if at all. They have certainly not been seen in Alira. There might be like a prototype or two that were in Vascor. However, with the events that transpired in Vascor, that's probably not going to be as easily readied, as well as the craftsmen not really being there for that kind of thing. But it would be very impressive if you could get a submersible craft.
Should I try? Out of game, asking the group, should I try?
Get us a submarine?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not a bad idea. Are we still going to need that ship?
Possibly. If it's any,
I mean,
if it's anything like the one submarine that I know about, which is a D&D submarine in
Yeah.
Dragon Heist, it needs to
Yeah.
be launched from a vessel. So,
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, Arjhan could go to Vascor, ask around, and he knows a very good Abishai crafts devil.
It would definitely take longer than a month of time to put together a submersible.
Well, the month of time would be
Yeah, that was just to get
us
to
getting
Prospect.
there, but
Yeah,
we can still like go to Alestria, right, and take care of everything else.
Yeah, you definitely could do that.
Should I try?
Yes.
Yeah, if you think it's the
Yes.
yeah.
Arjhan will
Yes.
try.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. All right. This might end up being one of our longer arcs. It's going to be great. So,
I'm gonna try to get a submarine.
okay. Yeah.
Do I need to roll for submarine?
Oh, yes. So the only people, again, who might have blueprints related to that, if you're looking for like a partially completed submarine, is going to be on Vascor.
Yep.
Okay. So with that, you'll need a way to get to Vascor.
I'll make the trip.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be long, but I mean, you know,
We could probably also reach out to Pink Dad to see if he has any blueprints.
yeah.
Can we put Pink Dad on the job?
Pink Dad and Bridget.
Can
Pink
we
Dad's
fucking
on a job right now. He's
taking care
raising
of
your
the
baby.
baby.
Remember the baby?
Excuse me, it's Pink Daddy. Okay, guys.
No, he's no daddy.
Have you seen his wife?
He's Pink Pop Pop.
Mommy? Sorry.
He's Grandpa now. He's Pop Pop.
Pink Yeah, no, Pink Dad raised Cori and also did other things. He is the master of multitasking. Just let him have it.
Sure.
Arjhan is not. He has a one-track mind, and it is on submarine.
Submarine. All right. So, going to Vascor or seeing Pink Dad?
Going to Vascor.
Going to Vascor. Okay. So
What-
Arjhan,
So here's the thing: we saved the fucking city.
you did.
I'll also, I might have a mech there.
A giant warforged that was being used to fight things and clean up stuff.
And it's got like a different arm now or something. Shit.
I'll have to go back and listen to that episode, which is the thing I can do now.
Neat. Yeah. So I'm gonna like go ask around, starting like from the top, like, who would, explain the situation? We're trying to stop this from happening everywhere else. We need to go to the bottom of the sea. Does anybody have any vessels capable of doing that? Or we're in development of that and would be able to help salvage that.
So when you say you want to go to the bottom of the sea, make an investigation check.
Okay, so my blood die for the day was a 2.
Okay.
So my investigation check. Oof. Queen Tiamat, help me. Can I get guidance? Apparently not. Okay. Investigation. 14.
14. So when you say that you want a thing that can go to the bottom, or like you're looking to go to the bottom of the ocean, the first thing that you are offered are potions of water breathing.
I can do that.
And as far as finding a vessel, there was a gnome inventor of legendary status named Qualish that was working on a rather airtight chamber. However, they have relative blueprints for such a thing. The only problem is getting the materials together, as well as it is sized for like tops 2 people of much smaller stature.
Would we be able to make it bigger?
With Bridget's help and Osmond, or aka Ozzy, as well as Pink Dad, you could figure out the best way to make this larger amongst these 3.
I'll make the calls.
Okay. So Arjhan is figuring out submersibles and trying to get there. Caelum, are you lending any assistance to zooting him over to Vascor?
Sure,
Okay.
if he wishes.
Sure.
I'll also reach out to Archmage Stonemantle to see if anyone on her end, artificery-wise, would know anything about going under the waves.
Assembling the brain trust.
Archmage Stonemantle, when you ask this, there is a pause and just no. Like she is like has never like the only people that she knows of who would go beneath the waves are either treasure hunters or sea elves.
Well, we have it on good authority, though, that there's a vault of magic weapons down there. Sentient magic weapons.
She asks whose authority.
Fuck. Moon Goddess.
And also, fucking, Arask.
And Arask told us about this.
Okay. She says that she is willing, with that in mind, if there is this veritable vault if there's this mystic cache of sentient magical weapons, she's willing to help fund the expedition and offer services. However, she would want a cut.
Looking over to Arjhan. Archmage Stonemantle said that she'd help fund this expedition, but she'd like a cut of the vault weapons.
Okay.
I got the okay from my boss.
She'll start drawing up paperwork.
We'll get McDonald's on the way too.
Yeah.
One
McDonald's
black coffee.
and one black coffee. God damn it.
Got there.
Okay, so as in Vascor, you find out that, again, you have the blueprints for an apparatus of Qualish. things I was not expecting
Should-
to happen today.
Welcome back to Four Keeps.
Are we trying to make? Are we trying to make one big apparatus of Qualish, or two tiny apparatus, or two normal size
Apparati.
Apparata, yeah.
I really
apparatuses?
think we shouldn't split the party in pressurized submersibles.
No, do that. It sounds super fun. I would love that.
It worked out well for Atlantis.
Caelum is Milo Thatch.
Fuck you.
What? He's great. He becomes like Atlantean royalty at the end of that.
So
One big.
am I the lady?
Oh, hell
Am I
yeah.
the step on me lady?
Oh,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Can I be the boom guy? Can I be the? I just want to be. Oh
Yes.
no.
Oh, Vinny? I
Vinny.
love Vinny.
Anyway,
My favorite
So-
Disney
Dr.
movie
Sweets.
aside.
so
Since I'm the
one
healer.
big apparatus.
One big
We're getting people
apparatus.
on it. It's being funded / co-funded.
by Archmage Stonemantle.
Yeah, if she wants that thing whenever we're done, that's
She's
absolutely
loving
fine.
it.
But we will bring things.
Yeah. No, like she's willing to help with material as well as manpower. Across the sea, there is a much heavier guild presence. Specifically, one of the higher, what used to be a more higher ranking guild was the Tinkerers Guild, but then they got it to some shit in Port Eris, and things really haven't been the same for the Tinkerers Guild since that point. That's a different adventure for a different time. But there is like Tinkerers Guild presence. She can figure it out after that point. So then spoke with Archmage Stonemantle, acquired the blueprints, doing a heckin' sending to Bridget,
Mhm.
to let them know that you have a new project.
Ah, shit. Well, I mean, that's gonna mean I have to get off on the other one. But I mean, sure, whatever. You're the person paying me.
Yep, and Cat Stonemantle is there as well. She's very excited to work on a new project. Or if Bridget would prefer, Cat can continue working on the mechanical dragon.
Well, this seems like all hands on deck thing. So I guess we're both going.
Yay! Like there's like cheering. That like permeate, like if it's ascending and you still have to think, that shriek permeates through Bridget's like psyche into the message. It carries. You don't
That
assume
yay
that
was
it
so
would.
shrill it makes Caelum's nose bleed.
Yeah. And then okay, so you're getting your Abishai engineers on it. You got Stonemantle working on it. You're going to talk to Pink Dad, just shooting Pink Dad a message that says, hey, you need to go to this undisclosed place either in the hells or on the material plane to work on a machine that's going to send me to the bottom of the ocean. Or do you want to handle that conversation in person?
That seems like a Cori question.
That seems like a Cori problem.
How dare you? Well, out of character, I think that we should handle it in person just so that we can see Pink Dad being Pink Dad.
Well, you figure this out. I need to use the bathroom again. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
We're getting a submarine.
Yes. I don't know why it was a question. I was like, yes, submarine. Yes,
It's
yes,
like we have to-
submarine.
It's like,
Yes.
Simon, we have to go to the bottom of the ocean. Submarines exist in D&D. We're at level 17. There's no reason not to do this.
Why
But
not submarine?
we had no real authority that submarines were
Present
Yeah.
in this
here.
world.
In this
Yeah.
world, that's fair enough.
But
I-
also,
But
if
also-
given the opportunity, submarine. I've been like going through clips randomly because my attention span is of that of a gnat tonight, and I
I feel
found the
that.
one. I found the one of Arjhan when we were in when we were on Arask, and we hadn't gotten paid for anything for a long time, and he just puts on his sunglasses like, all we have is emotional turmoil, and that doesn't pay the bills.
That's a great line.
Oh my god. I'm gonna tell Idnor after the stream that he needs to start clipping again. I miss that shit.
Hello, and
I
welcome
returned.
back to Nights in the Courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
The after show that, wait a second here. The after show that you can participate in by joining us on Discord. The link can be found in the Twitch chat to the side or in the description of this video or audio. Hello.
At some point, we're gonna go pop over to the Grove of the Hermit to go visit with Cori's father.
Okay. So, popping over to the Hermit, because I'm assuming that it's been just, again, like a whirlwind of like going from here to there, and Diantha is like, she's just here. She's loving this.
Well, like you're also like traveling all over the place anyway, so you really are taking her on that like cross-continent romp that you promised her.
While Cori's speaking with her father about this, Caelum's gonna show Diantha around the Grove of the Hermit and just like, that tree used to be Cori's arm.
So, you go to where Pink Dad is. And when the house arrives and opens up, in the grove, where you expected Pink Dad and Attire to just be like getting up to some weird shit, instead you see these two very learned men sitting on the ground looking at what appears to be a young Eladrin with hair that looks like ivy cascading down her back, who seems to be sitting on a small stump. And she is speaking with them. But it looks like she's speaking to them, almost in a way like an instructor would. And you hear Attire, fascinating, and he just continues to write.
I forgot. I thought this was supposed to be a baby. I remembered there being a baby.
Tiny baby, young baby, not child.
And
Grew up so fast.
And at this, the young green-colored Eladrin with hair that is made of ivy just looks over and just kind of gives a gentle wave. And
Hi.
at that, like, Pink Dad, like, stops and turns and just, oh, Cori! Diantha, it's a pleasure. Why are you here? That's besides the point. Cori, I have so much to tell you. So, I got your message, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But, it was incredible. So, this... They've been calling themselves Laurel. Laurel has their roots, right? Like a tree roots into the ground. But it's soaking up everything. All, like, this place, this is an old building.
How old is it?
According to Laurel, it's 800 years old.
How does Laurel know that?
I'm getting to this point. The roots that extend down, that have wrapped themselves and intermingled into the actual workings of the building, into this area. Everything here, Laurel is a part of. This is their grove.
So, when you say they're absorbing everything, not only nutrients, but experiences,
Knowledge,
and
information. Your friend, Attire, he says that you're friends. Are you friends? He's very strange. This is besides the point. He's wonderful in his own way. We thought to try, what if we make something new? To not really test, like, how to feed Laurel. As far as we're aware, they just, like, again, nutrients from the ground and all of that. But we took a page, like, from the Feywild, from one of my books. We tore it out, as hard as that was to do, and we attached it to one of the trees. and they gained the information from the page that was on the tree.
What? Not Laurel's tree.
No, not Laurel's tree.
How? Stop! Don't nail things to trees.
Well, how else was I supposed to apply it to a tree? I don't have any adhesive on me.
In a way that doesn't kill it.
A nail won't hurt the tree. It's fine.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Maybe
These are material plane trees. They're fragile.
Yeah, you should probably ask Laurel. See if Laurel knows about trees.
I know Laurel knows about trees. It's one of the first things that she told us. Specifically, young lady, young man, however you are presenting yourself today, that tree. And he points towards the tree that Laurel is sitting in front of. And Diantha just, what's so special about that tree? I'll tell you what's so special about that tree. That tree apparently was Cori's arm. It got removed from a shady, nasty man, taken, turned into like a shadow clone thing of you, apparently. And then you planted it in the ground, and it turned into this. Not mad at all. Just, it's been a while. It has been a weird couple of weeks. When I got here, they, tiny baby, small baby, I've continued to grow. It's like the more knowledge that you feed them, the faster they grow. And Hadorai, bless him, I don't know if you've noticed this, he rambles quite a bit. It's like...
Go on.
Yes, no, he rambles a significant amount, and the more that he was under the assumption that with plants you were supposed to speak to them and like sing to them and do all of that, and the plants will grow much in the same way that a baby would. Well, it turns out that a baby plus being made of plant is really receptive to stories and song.
Well, that's rather intriguing.
They also have a very, very... How do I put this? They came from your arm. They know a lot about you.
Oh no.
Oh, hey now. I take offense to that.
Well, you should. Laurel has let me know that you have done some things that are not exactly things that a father should hear about.
Oh, no.
So, Diantha, if you want to come over this way.
No, and Diantha's like, no, I want to stay for this. This is great.
Suddenly realizes why Caelum said, oh, no.
How... You died multiple times. You were in service to the Raven Queen. There's another really big question I need to ask. Is Olivia still here? Or did you boop her back to the boat?
God, that's a good question that we probably should have answered before we started getting into this shit. I don't know. Olivia probably would have needed to get back to the ship.
She would have preferred to go back to the ship. She trusts Sigurd, but that dude drinks a lot of seawater.
And we were also about to just start bop, moving from place to place. Would have been best to get her back.
Yeah. So Olivia is not here, but it's incredible. It really, nothing I've seen, and I've seen a lot, but this is fascinating. And with that, I would like to say, I love you very much. And I forgive you for not telling me that you've died multiple times. I think it really softened the blow hearing it from a small child who claims to be your former arm. Saying it out loud, it doesn't. No, it really didn't. But at the same time, I let Laurel know that I was thankful that they shared the information with me, and Laurel said that they felt comfortable sharing the information with me because they were scared of Mother. And I'm assuming they mean my wife.
Go to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, sir.
I'm going through a lot of emotions right now.
Caelum is going to put a hand on Cori's shoulder. You should probably tell him about the Shadowfell.
What exactly about the Shadowfell should I tell him?
Well, how about this? Did you, in any way, I won't be mad, I promise, again, I love you so much.
I know you won't be bad.
The end, at the far ends of the Winter Isle, it's connected to something else now.
Oh, yes.
Was that because of something you did? And Cori, as you were trying to find the words, Diantha just, no, she told me she did that. And your dad just looks at you just... I don't know how to explain that to anyone. So I'm not going to.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, not really your job. What were you talking about?
How there's another fucking version of you. In the form of the Queen of Ravens.
Yeah, well, I think he's figured that out at least.
You have turned yourself into a mirrored version of the Queen of Ravens.
Father, I need to impress something upon you. And I
He
cannot
faints.
do... I
Diantha just... I think we can go for our walk now. Show me this grove.
Okay.
I was going to say that I have never done a thing on purpose in my life. Gonna go and pick up Pink Death.
It's so serene, like his arm is limp.
He needs a Victorian fainting couch.
Yes. And Hadorai at this point just like and like looks at Laurel and it's just is it all right? My friends are over there. And just and like he's like trying to figure it out and Laurel's just like class is dismissed. And just closes the book. Thank you. You're so wonderful. My wrist hurts from all of the writing that I've been doing. And he stands up and comes over to you, Cori, and you, Arjhan, and just absolutely incredible. You would never believe it. It basically, what we found out is that everything that they, and he just like rambles the same rambling that your
I'm
dad
going to
did.
stop you right there, Hadorai, because I just heard the whole thing from my father here, who, as you can see, has had a bit of a spell. Also, you're learning from them?
Yes.
You do realize that you were supposed to be the teacher in this situation.
Oh, yes. No, I'm entirely aware on that one. However, I will admit and put this one out there as a historian. And he puts a hand on his chest. When you are learning about the past, a third-hand and second-hand account can only do so much. Laurel is gaining knowledge as if they lived this.
Well, Laurel was quite literally a first hand.
Yes. That's incredible. Even harder, you son of a bitch. Like,
Knights in the fucking courtyard on that one. Holy shit.
What?
Cori props up their father in a chair and starts fanning him whilst continuing this conversation.
This is incredible. Absolutely astounding. Phenomenal, really. This, like everything Well, I don't want to say everything that I've been working towards, because there was that whole the book is bound to me and I want to be... Regardless, everything that I've been learning from this place, from this building, all of the books, everything, Laurel knows, back to front. It's fantastic. I don't know what you did. Or if it was some hand of fate that was played into it.
I may need to interrupt this. Is there any knowledge that we should be particularly concerned about?
From here? Not
From you.
From me.
From you and your library.
Attire, do you have any knowledge from you and your library that would be particularly dangerous for anyone to learn?
Define dangerous.
Attire, I need a yes or a no from you.
Well, is there anything that Caelum knows that would be dangerous for anyone else to know? Because he and I did a lot of research here about the positive plane and the negative energy plane, and there was maybe a few scrolls and things about how to open portals to places.
Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Are you doing any weird far realm freaky shit?
No, gods, no. Should I?
No.
As
I won't.
Caelum and the Antha walk in the background, he leans over to Attire. I stop a second sundering and walks away.
And Attire just like, you can see like a shiver goes up his spine. He's just like, ugh.
And I thought I was very clear about stop nailing trees.
You were. I tried to stop him. I was going to find an adhesive. But, well, Yulon said that it would take too long to try and find enough hooves to make an adhesive. So we just, he's a man of science. I respect him. He looks so peaceful sleeping. Anyways, is there anything that I should know? Also, why, I appreciate you coming here and all of that, but I'm just, it is about time. Laurel has been curious.
I think that, at some point during the conversation, Cori actually started to wander away from them, just sort of a look of concern on his face, and walks over to Laurel.
Yeah, and Laurel just where they were sitting, which seems like it's like a large root had come up from the earth and wrapped around. Feather fall flat. TT, thank you so much for the raid. That this root has kind of grown up that allows Laurel to sit on it to then speak to their two students. But there is this small Eladrin child that looks like the spitting image of you, but green and growing vegetation out of them.
Cori's gonna come alongside them and sort of squat down. Hello there. Do you know who I am?
Yes. Of course I know who you are.
And you are Laurel.
Laurel nods. And you are Coriander Jonquil, or to some. And Laurel leans in. You're Coralon. I haven't told Father about that.
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You know a lot of things, Laurel. That's really remarkable for someone your age.
And Laurel has a very wide smile. Attire says that I am wise beyond my year. But it hasn't even been a year.
No, it hasn't. I think Cori's just gonna kind of quiz them on a few things that like only Cori would know.
And Laurel knows all of them.
Cori makes sure that Laurel knows to look out for Shar.
Oh, yes. No, Laurel is... Laurel lets you know that some of the books in the library also made note to be on the lookout for Shar. And she or they make a point to let you know that they are a good judge of character. And that while a strange little man, Attire is also a good judge of character.
I was going to say, you certainly didn't get that from me.
And Laurel smiles. Again, just that very, like, childlike, self-satisfied smile.
It was good talking with you, Laurel. I will probably see you again.
I hope so.
I'll tell you about my adventures.
And Laurel smiles and says, and even if you can't come, you can always send a letter.
Sort of tuts thoughtfully at that. Cori comes back to Attire, who is probably still talking excitedly with the others.
The only person that's left is Arjhan.
Poor Arjhan.
I think it's more of just like, are you sure there's nothing dangerous? No weird extraplanar shit. Or, alternatively, it's Attire letting you know, like, everything this child has taught him.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's like, it is a very... It's a very strange history, this place, where initially, back before the Goliaths would make their yearly travels eastward and westward across the continent, this place was a holy place for what would be an old nature deity, one that is no longer truly recognized. And at this point, when the Goliaths began to make their travels, the people started using this more as a refuge and as a place of worship. But then finding that this place was being used as a place of worship, as a place of hope, worshippers of more malaligned deities, specifically worshippers of Shar, began to seed themselves in. At a certain point, it became very apparent what was going on in this temple, and a group came in, cleared out these worshippers, did their best to remove any books or any texts that they could that blatantly were speaking of Shar, and then left this place with the help of a druid, shrouded in the forest, in the hopes that it would just pass off into obscurity. It was at that point that, many years go by, Attire ends up finding his way here and uses it to sequester himself as the powers of shadow had grown too much for him. As a result, enter all of you.
All of us?
Well, yeah. Wink. So, that is what Attire is in the process of telling you when, Cori, you end up returning from Laurel.
Great. So just to be clear, no copies of like the yellow sign somewhere. Great. Cool.
They really are a remarkable creature.
And Attire just, again, I don't know what you did.
I can't say that I did much of anything.
But I am rightly thankful for it. Because they have been a wonderful teacher.
Actually, Attire, what's your best hypothesis for what's going on here?
My best hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
My best hypothesis is your friend Cori, arm separated, planted, turned into a tree.
Yep.
We're all on the same page there. What I think is that your connection to Caelum as his paladin has imbued you with some form of divine nature hullabaloo magics. Yes? From what Laurel was speaking, you prayed and contemplated at the point where this tree was, where your arm was, an arm from a different time, maybe not like different time, but like that had been imbued with shadow and then been a part of that, and then you purified the shadow out of it, and then you planted it, and then it became one with nature, and then with this, you unknowingly transferred some of that divine energy, perhaps, into the tree, where the tree then manifested based off of that. I'm not really a Caelum scholar, necessarily. A lot of the elven deities bore me. They just... I get it. You know, I'm half elven. However, there are more interesting deities than Caelum. Let's all be very realistic on this one.
Okay, that is a really interesting theory. So you think, so based off of your hypothesis,
yes,
there is this creature that arose from
your friend's arm,
from a paladin.
Yes,
and in some way, the divine essence of a god.
Are you asking me if they're a god?
I'm asking you if you're taking care of a demigod.
Yeah. How do I like 1,000 yard stare and then just
a 2-week-old demigod? Well, 4-week-old demigod.
I don't know if I am the right man for this. I am taking care of them. Yes. Am I keeping this place separate? Have I told anyone about this? Certainly no. Well, except for you lot.
Certainly don't do that. Who would be the right person?
Cori turns around and does a divine sense on Laurel.
Mad Celestial. Mad Fae.
That would be me.
Okay, so I have another question based off of that then. You're going to take care of this baby. Well, not a baby anymore. Again, I'm not going to say anything, but you would need to be around a little bit more often than you have been if you're planning on taking care of them.
Actually, we sort of do know about another forest guardian demigod-ish spirit thing.
Your group is like you're just rolling in them.
From the very start, we've had too many gods.
Interesting.
Do y'all want to go like pop over to the Hololocks and see if we can get a cutting from like the Green Lady?
Ooh.
And see if like we can get them talking?
Do we
Are we-
know that the Green Lady's the ex of
I think. Well, I feel like we've been given enough threads
information?
to tie a very neat noose. But Arjhan's not even thinking that big. He's just like, oh well, there's this very new guardian spirit / demigod / something.
Mm.
Do they need to talk to somebody else if they can absorb like that knowledge? Maybe getting a cutting from another guardian spirit's forest place domain might help them just like be able to talk.
Perhaps we could ask if she'd be willing to be their godmother.
Yeah, like we can go and ask. We could try.
From my experience, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Another detour.
Caelum and Dante are walking, and Caelum's just thinking about the whole situation and just goes, "Oh no.
What is it?
Well, there's a part of me that's kind of mad science-y, and I kind of want to know, because Laurel is a repository for knowledge, and they do gain knowledge through interaction with the ground around them. What if I were to post a spell on one of the trees? Would they innately become aware of said spell and use said spell?"
Do not post anything on the fucking trees.
See, when you said mad scientist and then you started talking about the ground, I thought you were meaning that what if we buried a body out here? Would she like gain all of the information from that? But like your thing's cool too. I'm not knocking it.
Wait, is the body alive or dead? Because
We'll get to that later.
We'll figure that out when it comes up. But for now, maybe try casting a spell.
He's gonna go into his spell book and tear out the page for Misty Step. And he's not gonna nail it to a tree. He'll actually like affix it into one of the branches.
Okay. And you see the page glows with a vibrant green, and you hear the sound of wood groaning. And you look over and you see Laurel with that same greenish color, and you watch as they grow just a little bit. Their hair kind of comes out a little bit longer. Their eyes flash this greenish color. Then you see them like roll their shoulders a little bit. And then they, like, while everyone else is talking and only you and Diantha are watching this, you watch as this small little dryad disappears in a flurry of leaves and appears about 15 feet away from where she was. And she has a smile of self-satisfaction upon her face.
Caelum smiles to himself. Give me a moment. And he's going to Misty Step next to Laurel, boop them on the head, and then Misty Step away.
And Laurel will begin chasing you around her vicinity until she reaches like the edge of near, like about 30 feet away from where her tree is, and she doesn't seem to be able to move past that point.
Caelum's going to walk back into the range of the tree, noting and then he'll continue doing that. Caelum can cast Misty Step at will now, so
okay,
that's fun.
And as you and Laurel are casting Misty Step, playing a game of Godling Tag, that is where we're going to call it for tonight's session. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful session of Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't plan for any of this shit to happen, but here we are having a great time. But I always have a great time whenever these folks are on the channel. RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can find me on a submarine coming up. Hi, everybody. I'm RJ, and you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. Whenever I go live on any other show, you can see that I retweet them. So if you want to see where I'm at, RJustice282 Twitter, DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. The next time I'm going to be live is on my channel, LBHackEmUp. I'm going to be either playing Death's Door or Dead by Daylight. I haven't decided yet, but I'm enjoying both games. So, and then you can check my full schedule on my Twitter. I will not be on actually the next like 2 or 3 Friday nights on LBHackEmUp because I have family in town. I have friends in town. It's going to be a good time. But everything's happening on a Friday. So. But yeah, that's it for me. JanaeKeener.com.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. You can find me here on Mondays. You can find me on Saturdays on twitch.tv/the Capricorn Cross. Maybe, I think. We're playing a 5th edition game there. The first game in a while was last week, so hopefully we're back in stride, or maybe it's going to be another long break. I don't know. Depends on how we're feeling. You can also find me on twitch.tv/cyberwolf1201. Hey, that's my channel. I don't know how I'm going to be streaming, though. And then I got YouTube. I don't know when I'm going to post on there again, either. Naked.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hey everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Danae Keener. That's where I have my pinned tweet that shows all of the streams that I'm in. And you can also subscribe or follow or like what do you do on Twitter? You can stalk me there and find out when my commissions are open. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At least for now, we might be moving it to an earlier time slot to help with our East Coast friends. And also, I don't have the thing that I did on Sundays. I was making it so that way it was a late show. So we're going to try and make that a very succinct 5:30 across all the channels, all the shows that you've been watching. Which, if this is your first time watching, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played, or you can go towards where audio casts are made available for free. You can also find us there under the same moniker. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, or you can join us on our Discord. Go to Questions for the Courts. We'll do our best to respond to all the questions that you ask in kind. But for now, we are going to be heading out. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.